Hello, this is Michelle from Motocross Girl. This video is going to be about the trucking industry. One of my commenters requested this video. His name is Bald Bearded Bloke 6887, if I pronounced that right. So, if you're looking to get your CDL, first you're going to want to go to a trucking school. If you don't have the money for that, which is around $4,000 or $5,000 for about 3 to 4 weeks of school, you could choose a major trucking company to go pay for your CDL, but you have to work for them for at least 1 year. Those companies could be like Swift, CR England, Prime, all those major trucking companies. They will pay for your CDL. When you're done, they'll either fly you out or bus you to where their main terminal happens to be in. For example, Swift's main terminal is in Arizona. They'll more than likely, say you live in Washington State, for example, they'll send you to the Swift terminal in Sumner, Washington. Or if you live in California by LA, you'll be sent to their Los Angeles terminal. They got terminals all over the country. Once you do get your CDL and get on the road, you will be sent out with a trainer for about 2 to 3 weeks. For the first 50 hours of your training, you will be, your trainer will be in the passenger seat with you the whole time. After the 50 hours, you will be let to drive by yourself while your trainer is in the sleeper berth, sleeping while you drive. You guys will be a team driver for the 2 to 3 weeks. After that, you will graduate to solo driver, which means you can drive by yourself in your semi-truck. And the hours, we run on electric logbooks because it's 2023. They're a lot easier to use than paper logs. But I prefer paper logs because with paper logs you can cheat and get more hours on the road. But I wouldn't recommend doing that at all. You're allowed to drive 70 hours a week, 11 hours a day with 10 hours off each day. You have to have a 30-minute break in between your 11 hours. So after that 6 hours driving, you take your 30-minute break and continue the rest of your hours. Once you're done there, you put yourself in 10 hours sleeper berth. After 10 hours in sleeper berth, you wake up, put your logbook in pre-trip. You pre-trip your truck and trailer. When you're done with that, you put yourself in drive mode and start driving. And go wherever you need to go, basically, and deliver the load. No load is worth your life. Even if your boss says you have to have that load there on time or else, it's not worth your life at all. It's not worth your life. It's not worth the other people's life on the road. There's very few good truck drivers left. By that, I mean respectable truck drivers that respect other car drivers. They don't cut them off and stuff like that. But there's a lot of idiot drivers out there, like truck drivers that just don't care about other people. There's a lot of stuff to learn about the trucking industry. It's a fun job, but it's also a very hard job. Trucking is a lifestyle job. You either will like it or hate it. After the first 2 to 3 weeks if you're with your trainer, you'll either like it or hate it. But once you have your CDL, you have it. Might as well keep it, right? But there is an option where you can forfeit your CDL if you do not use it, or don't want to use it, or don't even want to be a truck driver and you still have your CDL. Now, there are different CDL classes. There's CDL Class A, CDL Class B, and CDL Class C. CDL Class A is for truck drivers like me that want to drive 26,000 pounds or more. I drive 80,000 pounds. So you need a Class A CDL. Class B and Class C. Class B and C is like school buses, short trucks like your box trucks. Class A is for like your physical tractor trailer. Class B and C is, you know, like your box trucks, school buses, and stuff like that. Now, those trucks have air brakes. You must have the air brake on your CDL if you want to drive any kind of truck with an air brake system. Now, if you have a Class A CDL, you could drive literally anything with air brakes or without air brakes. That includes box trucks, school buses, and stuff. But if you prefer to drive a school bus with a Class A, for example, you're going to have to go back to a trucking school or some school that does a CDL, and you're going to have to get the passenger endorsement on your CDL if you want to become, say, a school bus driver. There's a lot of things to learn about, but I recommend taking a CDL practice test before you even dare go and take the real CDL written test. Once you pass your written test, you will get a CDL Class A permit. That permit will be used for you to go to your CDL trucking school. That permit is just like, you know, a normal driver's license permit. You can't drive anything by yourself. You have to have an instructor with you in the semi-truck at all times while you're at the school. When you're at the school, you got to do pre-trips. You have to study the pre-trip. You have to have that completely memorized in your head. You have to have, in Washington State, I think you have to have like a 81 or higher to pass the CDL state test. The state test includes the pre-trip, which you have to pass. Once you pass that, you go into the backing test, which you do the straight line backup, the 90-degree backup, and the offset backup with either a 53-foot trailer or a shorter trailer. Mind you, the shorter trailers are harder to back up than the 53-footers because the shorter trailers, they turn way faster than the 53-footers. So I prefer, obviously, the 53-foot trailers because they turn slower. If you do decide to go to trucking school, don't be afraid of the backing. It may look hard, but trust me, you'll catch on within the first week or two. Because the first week or two, you're strictly focusing on your pre-trip and backing. After that, they'll take you on the road. Remember, if you go to a school with all trucks that are automatic and you test out in an automatic semi-truck, you will have an automatic restriction on your CDL, meaning you cannot drive a standard. Standard meaning a stick shift. All right, I have a regular CDL with no restrictions, so I could drive either an automatic or a stick shift truck. The trucks I drive are mostly stick shift, which is like 13 speeds and 18 speeds. Don't let that scare you. It's not as big and not as hard as it may seem or sound. And say you get your CDL and you pass your state test. Depending on the company, say my first company I worked for was Swift. They paid me 45 cents a mile. As long as your wheels are turning, you're making money. But if you're stuck in traffic, as long as those wheels are not moving, you do not make money. Now, that's for over the road. Now, if you want to become a local truck driver, then you'll get paid by the hour. But over the road, you get paid by the mile. Now, don't let this fool you. Oh, 45 cents a mile isn't enough to pay bills. But trust me, when you get your paycheck, depending on how many miles you run, you could get a $1,000 paycheck in 1 week. You get paid every Friday, every week in the trucking industry. And when I was on the road, I would run from Washington, Oregon, California, all the way to the East Coast to, like, say, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Maine, Michigan. Say I get a load from Seattle to Miami, Florida. That's a $2,000 load. That's how much I'm going to get paid. It's $2,000. You're not going to get, well, say the load pay is $4,000. You're going to get probably half and the company's going to get the rest. Depends on the company. Now, the last company I worked for before my health issues was a smaller trucking company out of California called Western Ag Incorporated. I liked the company, but the boss was a jerk to women, literally. But every paycheck I got was $1,500 every week, $1,500. I would pick up a load in Los Angeles, go take it to the East Coast, and come back. When I'd come back, I would come back into like Seattle area and drop off the load after I'd pick it up on the East Coast, and then I'd go home for home time. Now, mind you, once a week, you're going to have to take a 34-hour reset to reset your log. You can also get around that by doing what's called rollovers. So what's left in your 70-hour log, say you're at the end of your week and you got like, I don't know, say 10 hours left. What hours you don't drive that day gets added on to the end of the week hours of drive time. So you could use that, but once you run out of that, you're still going to have to take a 34-hour reset. I enjoy my 34-hour resets because I could do whatever. I could go to a hotel, I could watch Netflix in my truck, or go out and exercise and ride the bicycle, because I'd always have a bicycle on the back of my truck on the catwalk area. So it's a hard job to do, but it's a very fun job. You're kind of sitting on your ass all day, so you gotta kind of put in an exercise regimen and stay on a nice food diet so you don't get too fat while you're on the road. Honestly, when I was on the road, I lost a lot of weight because I did a lot of flatbed and reefer. I did flatbed a couple times, but it just wasn't for me, because lifting up a 100-pound tarp every time you want a tarp load, especially in the winter when the tarp is frozen, not fun. Especially in minus 30-degree weather in the winter, and you gotta untarp that load and unload that load outside. It's not very fun. So I recommend either dry van or reefer. Dry van, you don't have appointments. You rarely get appointments. Now with reefer, you get appointments, meaning say you gotta deliver at Tyson at 8 o'clock in the morning. That appointment's set. You cannot be late. You can be early. They'll just tell you to park somewhere. But if you're late, they're going to have to reschedule your appointment, and your company or you is going to have to pay for that. Mostly it's the company that pays for it, so don't worry about that. Don't get freaked out unless you're an owner-operator. As an update about my health, I went to the doctor recently. I do have a tumor in my stomach. They see quite a few, they're either tumors or ulcers, but they make my health a living hell right now. So I miss trucking so much. It's my lifestyle. It's in my blood. It's in my family. Been wanting to be a truck driver since I was a little kid, and I accomplished that goal. I was on the road for a few years just fine. No health problems, no health issues. And then one day I just felt like I had the flu. This was before COVID. This is in 2019 when I started getting these symptoms. So yeah, I have tumors and ulcers in my stomach. I had to have surgery to get those removed. Once I get that done, I can get back out on the road. And yes, I still have my medical marijuana card. I take the marijuana so I could eat and so I could stop throwing up all day and so I can sleep. So once I have that surgery, obviously I have to wait a couple months for the weed to get out of the system, and then I can get back on the road. So, and if you do plan on going on the road, do not do any drugs at all, because a lot of the trucking companies, they do hair follicle tests on top of a normal urine test, a urine drug test. And those hair follicle tests, they go back 90 days or longer sometimes. It depends on what kind of hair test they're doing. After they do the hair follicle test, they will have you pee in a cup. And then once you come back negative for both, you're hired on the spot. So a lot of trucking companies, especially when you're fresh out of school, they will give you the chance to let you get your foot in the door. It's not that hard to get your foot in the door. You just have to have a decent driving record. Not a lot of tickets. But if you do plan on taking any kind of written test to get your CDL A permit, just be prepared for it. Take practice tests online as much as you can to prepare yourself for it. Read the book. Read the CDL book. Now, the one in Washington for the CDL trucking book, they're that thick, with probably 400 pages or more in it. So I studied that book 5 to 10 times before I went in to take my test. Mind you, I passed all the tests except for the main one. The main one has like 100 questions in it. I failed that like 2 different times because like the trick questions obviously got me. So eventually I passed it on my 3rd or 4th time, I can't remember, but it can be hard. But afterwards, when you go to that trucking school and you pass the trucking school and you get your official CDL Class A and you're an official truck driver, in a way, it's the most exciting thing ever. It's like you got to put in a lot of work to get your CDL, because that, even if a trucking company pays for it and you go and you don't finish it, just remember they had to pay $5,000 just for you to go to that trucking school. And a lot of companies, if you quit the trucking school after 2 weeks, you'll have to pay at least $2,000 out of that. Which to me isn't worth it because you're already halfway through. Why not finish it, right? Even if you have your CDL, you could keep it and say a year or 2 later, hey, I want to try trucking out. You know, you could still drive truck. Trucking depends on the company, but you can make a lot of good money. The last 2 companies I was with, I made a lot of good money. I recommend TWT. It's a reefer company. They also have dry van, heavy haul, and flatbed. They are located out of Spokane, Washington. They are really good. They drive the Western 11 states. They will fly you to Spokane, Washington for orientation. And on top of that, you get an $800 orientation pay. So it's not a bad bargain deal. And all their trucks are brand new. A lot of their trucks are automatic because a lot of trucking companies are switching more to automatic trucks than standard trucks. Me personally, I like stick shift trucks. I like to have that feel that I'm in control of the truck, meaning I'm the one shifting the truck and not the automatic transmission that's shifting the truck, because it can be kind of dangerous in the automatics, especially when you're in the mountains, because with the standard transmission, when you're going downhill on a mountain, say a 12% decline, you're going to want to downshift that truck to a safe, speed. Once you start that decline, you cannot shift. This is in a standard truck. Once you start that decline, you cannot shift. You have to leave it in that gear, like say 9th gear or something. You cannot shift at all going down that hill or even up a hill. You got to stay in that gear. And make sure to pick a safe gear that has a safe speed, like you shouldn't go more than 30 miles an hour down a mountain in a semi-truck. That's just plain stupid and plain dangerous. Me personally, when I'm going down a mountain, I go no more than 25, 30. When you're fully loaded going up a hill, if you're going slower than 30 miles or 35 miles an hour, you have to have your flashers on. California is the only state that does not allow you to have your flashers on unless it's an emergency, like you're broke down, pulled over, something like that. But if you're seriously interested in the trucking industry, I say go ahead, give it a try. It's really worth it, in my opinion. The money you make is amazing. I mean, you could own your own house probably within 3 years or less. You could have enough money to put at least a down payment on something, whether it's a house, a car, whatever you want. It's just amazing. I mean, if you don't mind sitting on your butt all day, then you're gonna be fine. I mean, when I'm driving a truck and I feel like lazy, I will find the nearest truck stop, park, take my bicycle, and go for a ride or go for a walk. I don't like running or jogging. I'm more of a walking person and riding a bicycle kind of type of person. But yeah, if you do want to take the test, just take some practice tests, study the CDL book, and you should be good to go. Or if you know anybody that actually owns a truck and tractor trailer and you get your permit, they could help you do your pre-trip. They could help you learn how to back and maybe drive. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you'd like, you can go ahead and like this video, or if you would really like to, you could subscribe. But just as a heads up, I don't make too many videos on this channel because I like to watch YouTube and not make videos. But mostly I've been sick. My stomach tumors, and it's just been crazy for me. Here in about, hopefully by 2024, 2025, the latest, I should be out on the road. Because my surgery should be, I think, at the end of 2024, I think it is. So it's about 1.5 to 2 years away from now, which means, but oh well, who cares? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you plan on becoming a truck driver, let me know in the comments. And if you need any help, let me know in the comments, and I'll make another educational video about the trucking industry. There's a lot more to learn about. I just can't put it all in one video, and I don't want to make it too long. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, this video was in reply and response to Bald Bearded Bloke 6887. This video is specially made for you and for anybody else who happens to click on this video. Have a nice day.